Hi, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to create another logo. We're going to wrap text around a shape. So the first thing that we'll do though, we'll start with the easy steps and we'll go to the pen tool so that we can start drawing the line for the outline of the house. So I'm going to start at the bottom right corner. So I'll click there, then I'm going to move across here. But before I click again, I'm going to hold down the Shift key, then click. So that means that the Shift key means that the line will go across on a clean horizontal line. And again, I'll go up here and I'll click, but I'm holding down the Shift key first. So hold down the Shift key and then click. Now you can see what's happening is what this wants to do is fill the shape that I'm creating. Sometimes that gets in the way. I can't see the detail that's behind it. So what you do then is you go across to the tool palette where you've got the swap, fill and stroke, and you just click on that arrow so that black fill then becomes a black outline instead, and I can still see all the information underneath. So I'm going to go up here. This time I'm not going to hold down the Shift key because I don't necessarily want a 45-degree angle, but I am going to wait until that vertical pink line shows up because that's showing me that I've got the center point of the top of the house. So I'll click there and then I'll come down here and I've got that pink line again that's showing me that I'm lining up with the bottom right corner of the house. So I'll click and then I'll hold down the Shift key and go down here. And when you see the circle, it means it's enclosing that shape. So I'll click on there to select that. Now I've got a shape. Now what I'm not certain about is the height of the roof on both sides. It looks like this right side is a little bit higher than the left-hand side. So to fix that up, I'll go up to the top view and down to rulers, show rulers. Okay, and up the top then we have the measurements up here. So with the selection tool, I'm going to click in that ruler panel and I'm going to drag down here a guide. Now that guide isn't showing, so if I go Control semicolon, then it will show me the guide. Or view, and it should be down here, view guides. Guides, so you've got lock guides or unlock guides. It's showing guides now, so then it shows me the shortcuts as well. Okay, so I've got my guides there, and now I'm going to use the direct selection tool. I'm using the direct selection tool because I only want to move one of the nodes of this shape. I don't want to move the whole shape. So I'm just going to click on that node over here, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key so I still get maintain my straight vertical line for the side of the house, and I'm going to move it down so that it's aligned with the other side of the house. So now I've got the house shape there. The next thing I will do is I will go across to the rectangle in the tool palette and I'll just click and drag on top there. Now what I'm doing is I'm dragging over again because I'm going to use the shape builder tool so that I can get rid of that, and this will become one shape. So to do that, first I want to make sure that this house is centered with the door. So I'll select the house and I'll select the door, and I will go to my horizontal align center up the top and make sure that that's aligned. Now if these aren't showing up for you, that's because you need to go to Window, Workspace and select Essentials Classic, and that will then open up this panel across the top here. Okay, so then I will hold down, I'll click on the door and I'll click on the house to select both of them, and then I'm going to use the shape builder tool and click in the background. So now this is one shape and the door is another shape. So with the direct selection tool, I'm going to click on the door, hit the backspace key twice, and that will get rid of that. And then again, if I want to, I can remove it so that this is a hollow, just like the design of the logo was. Or I could leave it and that could be another fill shape of a different color if I want to. So the next thing I want to do are my leaves for the roof. So if you're doing more detailed work, then it's a good idea to zoom in. Okay, so with the pen tool, which is the hardest one to get used to really, so I'm going to click And then I'm going to go up just over the other side of the bend, and I'm going to go click, and I'm going to drag without releasing the mouse. And then I'm going to click here, not dragging because I want to keep a sharp corner here. I'll click just on the other side and drag. So what you can see is the arm on the left is following the direction of where I want to head towards when I'm finishing off my shape. And then I'm going to take that to there. And then I'll do the same with this shape here. So I'll click here, then I'll click just on the other side of the curve around. You don't want these arms to be too long or it gets a bit hard to control. Then I'll click there, and then I'll go up and around to here and finish it off. So there I've got two shapes there. And then I'm going to come back and put in this line. So click and drag. So I've got a line there. Now I've got this line that wants to keep continuing on. So to get rid of that, I'll just go over to my tool palette and click on one of the arrows, and that will release that. And then I can start again with the pen tool, select that again, click, click, but hold it down and drag a little bit so you just get a little bit of a curve so it looks a bit more organic. And then I'll click on the direct selection tool again to release that. Okay, so you can see that you've got this overlapping bit, so we know how to fix that because we've used the shape builder tool before. So we'll just click on this shape and select the shape builder tool and click on here and then drag across that line. So then that one takes over. Okay, so now we have our shapes here. Now you might think that these lines, they're pretty squared off. You might want a more rounded end on it. So we'll go to stroke and you can change the cap to rounded, and then it's a little bit more organic and softer. And stroke and make it rounded. So that's a bit softer. Sometimes you might have corners that you need to change the stroke to rounded corners as well. So what you'll do next is you'll click and drag to select all of those leaf bits, and you'll go Control G to group it, or object group, and then you'll move it down so it sits there. Now you might want to rearrange it now that you're on the computer and move it so it sits behind, and you could fill this with white, for example, or any other colour. It's an eco house, so maybe we can make it green. Okay, so what I did there was I selected the shape, I double clicked on the square, and I used the slider to get a colour, and then I clicked OK. So we've got that, and you can see that I've got a fill. If I wanted to take away the black outline, I click on the black and I just click on the square that has the red line that goes through it. Okay, and then I might want to have this a different fill colour. So I'll double click on there. I might go for more of a bluey colour. And I've got that. Now I want one layer to sit behind the other. So you might think that that's a nice effect, having this sitting on top of the house, or you might prefer to have the house sitting on top and that's cleanly sitting behind. So if that's the case, we organise our layers by selecting the background and object, arrange, bring to front. So then that one's sitting in front. Okay, so now we've got the shape of the house and this, so we'll click on one and then click on the other shape to select them all, and Control G will group all of that together. So if I move it around now, it's all going to move together. Now we'll zoom back in so we can see it. So the next thing that we'll do is we'll work on our sustainable estate text. So we'll click on the rectangle button and drag down to the ellipse tool and click on that. And you can either, if you know the size, you can just click on the background and type in the size, or you can just click and drag. But when you do, hold down the Shift key so that you're getting a perfect circle. Okay, so I've got my circle there. Now, I don't want a circle that's filled, so I'm going to click on the green, and then so that's selected. and then click on the no fill. So now I've got no fill, but I've got a black line. So what happens is I'm going to go for the text tool now. Now, if you click and hold down on the type tool, there's other options there. So you could area type tool, that will fill a shape with type. So if I wanted text to fit within my circle, I could do that. Or type on path tool, which is the one I want. So I'm going to click on the type on path tool, and it's got this curvy thing, meaning it's going to follow the path. This is the path, this line here. Now, when I click on this circle with the type on path tool, it will no longer be a solid line. It will then be just a path for the type. So we'll click on there and see it's already got Franklin Gothic regular 60 point, which is way too large. So let's take it down to 20 for a start. And then we're going to type in sustainable estate. I've hit the cap block. Okay, I've got that, but it's upside down, which is no good for me. And I hope I've spelled it right because it's hard to see. So see this little cursor here? If I click on that and drag it around, that takes it to the top. And you can see it showing that it's centered with that pink line. So I've got that now. Usually if you're wrapping type around something, you probably need to leave a little bit more white space in between the letters so that it's easier to read. You might want to make it slightly larger. So to do that, you select the type tool and click on it 3 times, and that selects all the type. Then you'll go up to character, and it's already got 50 there. I might make it, say, 100, but I also might make it 25, type and see. So that goes further around the type. Whether or not you want that, that's up to you. You can look at different typefaces. What I would recommend is if you are doing type on a shape, that you don't use italic type because it doesn't work as well. It's harder to read when you've got italic type running around a shape. So we could use something like that. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to center the house within the text. So again, we use this horizontal align center, so that centers it for us. We could reshape, resize this house. We can recolor it. We can do anything we want down the track. Okay, so we're going to save that for now and we'll come back for the rest.